going to allow a little bit of the junk web or some other content to come in so I can take a breather from that, because your energy level is not the same throughout the whole day.
No.
And you just go through peaks and valleys.
So I just stopped and started the recording because I just saw that this was a really natural spot for talking a little bit about that, about time and everything. Because you mentioned about getting up at 5, and I get up at 6. People laugh because I'll say goodnight like around 8:45 or so on the social web, and they think no, he's just going off to read for a while and he'll be up until midnight. And I'm like, no, I'm trying as fast as I can to get to sleep because I want to get up early. Rob Hatch is working on something. It'll either be a course or a book or something called Work Like You're on Vacation. And it's his idea, and I've just been really pushing him hard to make it better. Because what he did was he said, hey, I had these few days off. He has a coach that he works with, and he coaches back. Like they do this sort of, love each other kind of a coaching. And similar to us, I guess.
What we're doing.
So he had this thought. He said, when I'm away, like when I'm on vacation, but not taking the time out from Human Business Works, the way I do that is I just work really hard early in the morning, and then I shut my laptop by like 10 or 11, and I've got the whole day ahead. And, like you just said, your son's just get up at 10. I mean, your whole workday is done by the time your son gets up, then nobody has to suffer, right? If you control your time and your work. So Rob hasn't quite, put the whole thing together yet. He's still working on it. But what I've been doing is pretending like the book's already out and that the book told me this, this, and this. And so my methodology is I get up at 6. I spend from 6 to 7 doing my stuff, meditating type stuff, focusing and intention type stuff, a lot of brain stuff, and then physical fitness type stuff. And then from 7 through 11, I work. And then after 11, I try to stop. Some days you see me doing junk after that. I can't help it. But I've been working towards the goal of shutting the lid at 11. So anyway, I thought it was interesting. You also, I see you load Twitter up in the morning, etc. That seems to be part of your thing.
It is. It's getting that work out of the way so I can go do other things. But I think you're right. And I've noticed this change in your work. You used to be omnipresent. I mean, you were always live on the web, always. And now there are giant gaps. Even in your Twitter, there's some days there's 5 tweets from you. And that will be done at 8 o'clock, and then there's nothing past that. That didn't used to be true for you.
That's true.
But do you find you're getting way more quality work done by shutting the lid and actually just shutting off the connection to the social web?
You know what? I think the truth is yes. I would say that, well, so one of the problems is with using the social web, and especially me being, kind of a pioneer, for lack of a better term, is that the return on it. There's a thing built into using the social web. The reason that there's those little circles with red circles with white numbers in the middle of them is that we all have a very similar, it's a gambling related problem. We have this problem that says, I'm stuttering because I'm trying to remember the actual term, but the term is basically no stimulus, no stimulus. Oh, that's very stimulating. No stimulus, no stimulus, no stimulus. Oh, so that gap between those two things is as long as we'll let it be. And in gambling, the way we do this is we extract value from you the whole way. We take your money over and over and over again. And just when you think you might quit, we'll let you win. Slots in Vegas, now that they're all electronic within the house, when you plug your little card in, because all your money is on the card, it's also plugging your success history in. So if you've had a really bad run and you've just go and put your card in this machine, it'll give you a win almost right away. Why? Because it's going to try to bleed your card and it's going to want to get you out of there. The exact same thing happens on the social web. We go to Twitter or whatever our social web of choice is, and we're like, oh, maybe someone's saying something cool about me. Or maybe there's some really interesting thing from Mashable. And if there's not, well, that's okay. We'll just kind of linger for a little bit because it's coming. I mean, it'll be there in a minute, right? Or that, response. Or someone's going to say something about my blog post and I'm not going to be there and I'm going to be a jerk, right? Yeah. You must unplug from that stimulus. You must. It's the same problem as having a gambling addiction. It is the same biochemistry moving in your body. So I have unplugged a bit because I'm fully aware that of that addictive personality, and I'm fully aware that that's what I was doing.
But it's a human thing. I mean, it gets all of us. It's that serotonin drip, and it's that getting any kind of feedback that validates us and our identity. So you put the blog post up and somebody says, that was a great blog post. And you're like, yes, I got somebody. And it feels good, and we want to feel good. So we move through looking for the opportunity to feel good and to be relevant and all those other things. I started shutting the lid early I'm using some tools like Buffer app to load those up. I think you use a similar tool, maybe Hootsuite or something like that. But I use Buffer app and I load that up so I can break away from this, you know, and have what we're doing right now, face-to-face connections. I don't have any other, I have nothing else up on my screen right now except you. And that focus allows you to do quality work, to bring your best attention to something. And I see people all the time and they're continuously plugged in. They've got their face in every screen and they're giving everything their half attention. One thing I've done with employees over the last year that has totally freaked everybody out is when they come into my office to sit down to talk to me, I shut my laptop lid completely. And they always come in and start with the same thing. Do you have a minute? And they don't really want a minute. Really, they want my undivided attention. So once I shut the laptop lid, then all of a sudden they're scared. Wait a second, he shut the laptop lid. He's really going to give me his full attention. Hey, I didn't really need anything important. No, you're here because it's important. Let's deal with whatever you're here for. But just shutting the lid is so intimidating now. Yeah. Like, why would he shut the lid? What if he gets an email? Yeah. When I turn the lid back on, the email will still be there, and that's okay. Now I'm going to think about you for a minute. But after a while, it changes the relationship you have when you're doing the work, whether it's people work, but especially people work, because you are really giving your whole self to it.
You know, so we are triggered for one, that positive thing that you mentioned about kind of looking around for our praise, but we're also triggered by, I am going to miss something. Like every child, before they've owned a laptop, has that fear. I can't go to bed. Something cool's going to happen, right? So it happens insanely online, though, and we think, I'm going to miss a very important email. Well, I'll give you a hint. The email that's going to make you a lot of money can linger there for a short while. There are no lottery emails. There are no radio announcer, you better call back in the next 10 minutes or you don't win the prize, emails that'll ever come to your inbox. When you are waiting on a very important email that is important to the moment that you're in, sit there with the phone right in your eyeball. That's exactly the right time. However, the rest of the time, it's never going to be you must answer now or else kind of a thing. Now, people will send you mail with if you can respond to me in the next couple hours, that would be great because there's this great opportunity and the ship is sailing, and they might really mean it. Like, I need to call this person back and I never thought to ask you anytime sooner than right now, but this other guy dropped out and do you want to be this thing and you're going to hang out with Richard Branson all day, and you could possibly miss that. But that's that gambling thing. Like, if you were waiting around for that one potential opportunity, you know, you've already lost the game. You have to pick a new game. And the new game is, I don't need to be plugged into a little rectangle on my hip.
All the time. Yeah, I think that email, I call it SEP, someone else's problems or someone else's priorities. All they're doing is loading up your box. It's interesting. In one of the businesses, I have 65 employees. And they'll send an email and then immediately call, did you get my email? Well, I don't have my email up all day because I'm actually doing other work. So I've got the lid shut or I've got email turned off. When did you send the email? Just now. Okay, well, then you could have just called. But that's sort of the response time that people have come to expect from email. But that's not what the tool is for. No. The tool's like mail. It's okay to sit in the box all day, and when you get home, you take it out of the box, you process it, and you get rid of it. Or you do it maybe twice a day, 10 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock, but you don't have to live on your email. This device has been the biggest leash in business. You're always hooked to the business. You're never allowed to be far enough away. But it's making it so you don't do quality work anymore. Part of it is that we are wired this way. We want that serotonin drip. And part of it is, you're right, we're afraid we're going to miss something. You're not. If you were, the phone would ring and somebody would tell you, you're going to miss this if you don't get back with me.
Right. And, you know, it's Chris Gillibo said this the other day. I've just been repeating it over and over again. He says, are you any happier now than you were 4 iPhone versions ago? You know, is your device bringing any better happiness to your world? I was talking to my uncle, and he was talking about this game he plays that I can't remember the name. It's a French version of bocce, and I guess bocce stole from the French. It's the other way around, I guess. It was the French had it first. And so he plays this game, and he loves it and whatever, and he was telling me all about it, and my phone buzzed, and he kind of looked over at it, and I said, do you guys use cell phones? He goes, yeah, we have a track phone. And he goes, every now and again, it causes a problem because, you know, someone might reassign the phone number because we haven't used it in so long or something like this. And I was just thinking, like, they don't even have a vaguely smartphone. They have the stupidest of phones, and it's prepaid, and they could care less. And sometimes they go a week before noticing. Now, it's not their line of business isn't such that they need that. And my line of business is that I do need it.
Me too.
You know, but we don't need it the way we're using it. We're choosing a path. And that path we're choosing is kind of nutty, I guess, especially with regards to questions like how do you get everything done? You and I get that question all the time. How do you get so much done? Well, hint, it's related to how we react to this.
Absolutely. You have to turn it off. You have to be willing to turn it off. I downloaded iOS 6 onto my 4 ahead of time, particularly one feature on there that I really wanted. So it has made my life better. The best feature in iOS 6 is Do Not Disturb. And you just set a block of time and say, if it's not, I left it free for my wife to call in. My kids can call through. Otherwise, I'm on Do Not Disturb. I don't want those calls. And having the ability to just say, I'm going to put it on Do Not Disturb. It's going to give me a message. I'll get all those at the end of this when I turn it back on. Because my attention, there's two things I think that I've recognized about doing as many different things that I do and trying to love the grind and get the work done. It's attention and it's energy. And you've got to give your full attention and your full energy to whatever's important. Because if you don't get that done and out of the way and you don't do the work of the grind, then later on there's no time for it. It just disappears. People start making demands. The phone starts ringing. People want things. And you have to try to help people with the things that they want, especially if you're running businesses. But if you don't get the important work done, I mean, ultimately there's always something to take you away from what really needs to be done. You can always find an excuse. You can always find a distraction. The junk web is a perfect metaphor for the distractions. There's countless novelties and distractions out there that can hook your attention. And they're all interesting and they're all valuable at some level, even if it's just for entertainment. But you've got to be able to pull away from that.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Anthony, I'm going to let you go. I know you've got stuff to do. We'll pick up another conversation again really soon. The reason we're doing these, and we'll sometimes mention it and sometimes not, is we've just found out that we like talking about business a real lot, and we thought, gee, maybe someone would want to see some of this. So that's the whole purpose. There's no real ulterior motive. When we have ulterior motives, we share them. We want you to buy some crap. Don't worry, we'll come right at you.
Pretty blatantly, we'll actually tell you we're pitching. We're not pitching right now.
Nothing. Hey, go have a great day. Good talking with you.
You too. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks.